People who share their homes with both cats and dogs often discover that despite the stereotype of eternal conflict between the species, there can be moments of harmony. Fido and Garfield, for instance, might even learn a thing or two from each other along the way. In Seneca, South Carolina, a cat named Miss Kitty and a dog named Smoochie coexisted in the same household. One morning, their owner witnessed an unusual sight. Miss Kitty was carrying one of Smoochie's puppies across the yard. This curious event left the owner with questions that needed answers. Miss Kitty was not an ordinary cat. Though she may have resembled a typical neighborhood feline, those who interacted with her knew the level of attention she commanded, and the residents adored her. She lived in a mobile home community in Seneca, where she roamed freely in the outdoors. Each morning, her owners would let her out, and Miss Kitty enjoyed her daily adventures. Missy Grant, one of Miss Kitty's owners, took pride in her cat's reputation in the neighborhood. However, she acknowledged that Miss Kitty's demeanor had changed after a tragic post-pregnancy incident. On April 17, 1993, Miss Kitty gave birth to a litter of kittens, an event that should have brought joy to everyone, especially the proud mother. Unfortunately, every kitten in the litter passed away shortly after birth, leaving Miss Kitty devastated. To compound her grief, the Grant couple also had a Cocker Spaniel named Smoochie, who gave birth to a litter of puppies not long after Miss Kitty's kittens had passed away. While the Grants were relieved not to experience the loss of more young animals, they sensed that Miss Kitty felt a sense of jealousy. However, they noticed something unusual about Smoochie's behavior. Smoochie, the Cocker Spaniel, seemed disinterested in mothering her new puppies, which raised concerns for the Grants. Their alarm grew when one afternoon they observed Miss Kitty engaging in a bizarre activity. One morning, Missy heard Miss Kitty rummaging around their yard and went outside to investigate. Upon opening the door, she was astonished to see Miss Kitty carrying one of Smoochie's puppies in her mouth. Shortly afterward, Linda Blackwell, one of Missy's neighbors, reported hearing animal sounds beneath her home. Determined to unravel the mystery, Missy began her investigation. Believing that if Miss Kitty took one puppy, she might return for another, Missy followed the cat's path and watched as Miss Kitty led her to Linda's mobile home. After Miss Kitty jumped into a small opening beneath the home, Missy crawled under to investigate. To her astonishment, Missy found Miss Kitty nestled in a small crawl space with several of Smoochie's puppies. The sight left her wide-eyed with amazement. She immediately brought her husband, Ryan Grant, to witness this incredible scene. Ryan, equally shocked, observed Miss Kitty caring for the small puppies as if they were her own litter. She cleaned them and even allowed them to feed from her, a rare and heartwarming sight. The Grants wondered if providing Miss Kitty with kittens, even if they weren't her own, might help her let go of the puppies. They sought the assistance of a local news station to ask if anyone had stray kittens to donate. A kind-hearted man who lived nearby offered 2 kittens, hoping it might resolve the situation. However, Miss Kitty warmly welcomed the kittens into her makeshift puppy litter. When local veterinarian Dr. Andrew Holland heard about this remarkable story, he found it hard to believe that a cat was replacing her lost litter with Cocker Spaniel puppies. Nevertheless, he shared important advice with the Grants. Dr. Holland emphasized the importance of the puppies feeding from their biological mother. He taught the Grants how to gently help Smoochie lie on her back and encourage the puppies to nurse. Remarkably, it worked. The puppies were drawn to both Smoochie and Miss Kitty, who acted as parents to the young pups. Although Ryan and Missy found the situation somewhat perplexing, they were delighted that it all worked out in the end. Owners of both cats and dogs often witness surprising bonds between their pets, proving that these 2 species can coexist in harmony and even adopt each other's characteristics. Such was the case with a cat named Miss Kitty and a dog named Smoochie. Miss Kitty, a beloved member of a Seneca, South Carolina, mobile home community, had a unique charm that endeared her to everyone. She roamed freely outdoors, and her owners would let her explore each morning. However, her demeanor changed after a tragic event. On April 17, 1993, Miss Kitty gave birth to a litter of kittens, but all of them passed away shortly after birth, leaving her heartbroken. To make matters more complex, the Grant couple, Miss Kitty's owners, also had a cocker spaniel named Smoochie, who gave birth to a litter of puppies. Though the Grants were relieved that Smoochie's puppies survived, they could sense Miss Kitty's jealousy. This became evident when they observed Miss Kitty carrying one of Smoochie's puppies across the yard. To investigate further, they followed Miss Kitty and found her inside a crawlspace beneath a neighbor's mobile home, nurturing Smoochie's puppies as if they were her own. This heartwarming act of motherly care left them amazed. Over time, Smoochie and Miss Kitty became inseparable. Brady, a golden retriever, had an innate affection for all creatures, which helped Tuuka, a tiny stray kitten, find his place in the household. Tuuka initially felt anxious about his new dog friend, but Brady's gentle nature reassured him. Brady even allowed Tuuka to mimic dog behaviors like drinking water from his bowl. Tuuka's transformation into a more dog-like cat continued as he learned various aspects of dog behavior from Brady. As Tuuka grew older, he retained his love for Brady and adopted many dog-like habits, such as begging for food and playing rough. The pair became mischievous partners, even teaming up to knock snacks off the counter. Tuuka was very protective of Brady, growling and sounding like a dog when another dog, Wyatt, came to visit. Whenever Brady left the house, Tuuka would mope until his canine friend returned. Tuuka's close bond with Brady led him to believe he was a dog like his friend. This adorable pair, embodying the best of both cat and dog worlds, shared an extraordinary connection, proving that pets can break stereotypes and form unique relationships.